Can a franchise save its season by making the most polarizing trade decision in recent memory? The San Francisco 49ers are facing the ultimate test of organizational courage right now, and their response to losing Nick Bosa might involve a move so audacious that it will either be remembered as brilliant championship maneuvering or the moment they traded away their Super Bowl dreams for fool's gold. Picture this scenario. Your team's defensive anchor, the player who strikes fear into opposing quarterbacks across the league, goes down with a season-ending injury. The championship window you've spent years constructing is suddenly crumbling before your eyes. Do you make a desperate move that could either resurrect your title hopes or spectacularly destroy everything you've built? That's the exact nightmare the 49ers are living through, and their proposed solution is so controversial it's got the entire NFL world buzzing with heated debates. Nick Bosa isn't just another pass rusher in San Francisco's defensive scheme. He's the gravitational force around which their entire championship identity revolves. When news broke about his season-ending knee surgery, you could feel the seismic shift rippling through the Bay Area and beyond. This wasn't losing a solid contributor or even a Pro Bowl starter. This was watching the cornerstone of your defensive philosophy get ripped away at the worst possible moment. The timing feels almost cruel in its precision. The 49ers entered 2025 with legitimate Super Bowl aspirations, carrying a roster that many analysts considered the most balanced and talented in the entire NFC. Their championship window appeared wide open, with veteran leadership perfectly balanced against emerging young talent. But the NFL's brutal reality doesn't care about your carefully constructed plans or your salary cap gymnastics. Injuries strike without warning, leaving franchises scrambling for solutions that often simply don't exist. San Francisco's current pass rush committee reads like a collection of well-meaning understudies trying to fill the shoes of a Broadway legend. Bryce Huff brings veteran experience and solid technique, while rookie Michael Williams shows flashes of future potential. These aren't replacement-level players by any stretch, but asking them to replicate Bosa's game-changing impact is like expecting a regional theater troupe to deliver a Tony Award-winning performance on opening night. The statistics tell the harsh truth about what the 49ers have lost. Bosa's 2022 Defensive Player of the Year campaign featured 18.5 sacks and constant game-wrecking pressure that opposing offenses had to account for on every single snap. Even in down years, his mere presence commanded double teams and opened opportunities for teammates across the defensive front. That kind of gravitational pull can't be replaced through scheme adjustments or motivational speeches. Here's where the story takes its most intriguing turn toward the Big Apple, where another compelling drama is quietly unfolding. Kayvon Thibodeaux, the 5th overall selection in the 2022 draft, finds himself in an increasingly uncomfortable position within the Giants' defensive rotation. Despite delivering an impressive 11.5 sack breakout season in 2023, his role in New York's long-term vision has become clouded by circumstance and organizational priorities. The irony is almost poetic in its absurdity. A player drafted in the top 5 just 3 seasons ago, who demonstrated legitimate star potential and consistent improvement, might be available because his own franchise has accumulated too much defensive line depth. In most NFL contexts, this would represent the ultimate luxury problem. But in New York's current situation, it creates the perfect storm for a blockbuster trade that could benefit both franchises dramatically. Thibodeaux's production speaks louder than any scouting report or draft pedigree. Through 46 career games, all starts, he's compiled 21 sacks, 51 quarterback hits, 28 tackles for loss, and 6 forced fumbles. These aren't empty statistics accumulated during garbage time or against backup offensive lines. They represent legitimate, game-changing production from a player who just turned 24 years old and appears to be entering his prime years. Brian Burns' presence as the established veteran leader, combined with rookie Abdul Carter's promising early development, has created a crowded rotation that might not accommodate Thibodeaux's championship-level ambitions. Sometimes talented players become available not because of performance issues or character concerns, but simply Because organizational dynamics create opportunities for mutually beneficial moves. This is where the 49ers' potential solution becomes truly fascinating and undeniably controversial. Reports suggest San Francisco would consider dealing Jauan Jennings, their emerging offensive weapon who just delivered a career-defining season, along with a valuable second-round pick to acquire Thibodeaux's services. On first glance, this appears to be robbing Peter to pay Paul, creating one roster hole while attempting to fill another. But examine the underlying mathematics, and the logic becomes more compelling. Jennings has been nothing short of sensational for the 49ers offense, providing clutch performances and reliable production when the team needed it most. Trading him would undoubtedly create another significant gap in their roster construction. However, here's the crucial strategic consideration that makes this gamble potentially brilliant. San Francisco possesses multiple offensive weapons and proven systems that could theoretically compensate for Jennings' absence. The 49ers have Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, and Christian McCaffrey, an embarrassment of riches that few franchises can match. Their offensive system, refined through years of Kyle Shanahan's innovative scheming, has consistently elevated role players into productive contributors. While losing Jennings would certainly sting, the offensive infrastructure exists to maintain high-level production through scheme adjustments and increased opportunities for other weapons. Conversely, there's no scheme in existence that can manufacture pass rush pressure when you simply lack the personnel to create it. You can't coach speed off the edge or teach the kind of bend-and-burst athleticism that elite pass rushers possess. Either you have players who can consistently pressure the quarterback, or you watch opposing offenses pick apart your secondary with comfortable pocket presence. The financial aspects of this potential deal make it even more attractive from San Francisco's perspective. Thibodeaux's fifth-year option, exercised by the Giants in April, locks him into a $14.8 million salary through 2026. In today's inflated pass rusher market, where mediocre edge defenders routinely command $15 to $20 million annually, acquiring a proven commodity like Thibodeaux at that price point represents exceptional value. Compare that figure to recent edge rusher contracts, and the bargain becomes apparent. Players with far less production and upside have secured deals worth significantly more guaranteed money. The 49ers would essentially be acquiring a young, ascending pass rusher at below-market rates while maintaining financial flexibility for future roster construction. From New York's perspective, this trade addresses their most pressing organizational need, surrounding rookie quarterback Daniel Jones with as much offensive talent as possible. While Thibodeaux represents significant defensive value, the Giants appear to be prioritizing immediate offensive upgrades that could accelerate their young signal caller's development and translate into more victories during his crucial early seasons. Jennings would bring proven production and veteran leadership to a Giants receiving core that, while talented, lacks the consistent reliability that championship teams require. His route-running precision and clutch moment production could provide exactly the type of security blanket that young quarterbacks need to develop confidence and timing. The timing alignment here borders on perfect from both organizational standpoints. The Giants are clearly in rebuilding mode, focused on developing young talent and accumulating assets for sustainable long-term success. The 49ers, meanwhile, are operating in win-now mode with an aging veteran core and a championship window that narrows with each passing season. This potential trade perfectly embodies the classic NFL dilemma between immediate gratification and sustainable success. For San Francisco, dealing Jennings represents a significant gamble that their remaining offensive weapons can maintain elite production levels without his contributions. But championship opportunities are rare and precious commodities in the NFL, and franchises that hesitate to make bold moves often find themselves regretting their conservative approach when reflecting on missed chances. Championship windows close faster than anyone expects, and the 49ers understand this reality better than most organizations. They've been tantalizingly close to ultimate success in recent seasons, only to fall short when the stakes were highest. The Kyle Shanahan era has produced consistent excellence, but hasn't yet delivered the championship that would validate all the organizational investments and strategic decisions. Bosa's injury creates both crisis and opportunity, a chance to make the type of bold, decisive move that separates championship teams from those content to remain competitive but never quite reach the mountaintop. While trading Jennings would certainly create short-term pain, the potential return of adding a young, ascending pass rusher on a team-friendly contract could provide exactly the defensive boost needed to maximize their remaining championship window. Thibodeaux's age and upside trajectory make this more than just a desperate rental situation. At 24 years old, with his rare combination of size, speed, and technique, he could potentially anchor San Francisco's pass rush for the next decade. His physical profile, 6 feet 4 inches, 254 pounds with elite burst and bend, fits perfectly into modern defensive schemes that prioritize versatility and athleticism. The scheme fit appears seamless with San Francisco's defensive philosophy. Thibodeaux's versatility would allow defensive coordinator Steve Wilks to deploy him in multiple alignments and situations, creating the kind of matchup nightmares that Bosa provided before his injury. His ability to rush from multiple positions would restore the chess match element that makes elite pass rushers so valuable in today's NFL. His demonstrated improvement trajectory suggests the best is yet to come. The jump from his rookie season to his 2023 breakout campaign indicates a player who's still developing and refining his craft, placing him in San Francisco's defensive system, surrounded by veteran leadership and coaching excellence, could unlock even higher levels of production. Sometimes the most desperate moves prove to be the most brilliant, and sometimes they serve as cautionary tales about the dangers of panic-driven decision-making. The 49ers find themselves at exactly this crossroads, forced to choose between conservative stability and bold championship pursuit. The mathematics suggest this trade could work brilliantly for both franchises involved. San Francisco gets a young pass rusher to anchor their championship push, while New York acquires offensive talent and draft capital to continue building around their young core. But mathematics don't account for chemistry, leadership, or the intangible factors that often determine success or failure. What makes this potential trade so compelling is how it forces both organizations to clearly define their priorities and timelines. The 49ers would be declaring that their championship window is now, and they're willing to sacrifice future depth for present-day title hopes. The Giants would be acknowledging their rebuilding reality while maximizing the return on a valuable asset. The ultimate question isn't whether this trade makes sense on paper. The logic is sound for both sides. The real question is whether the 49ers have the organizational courage to pull the trigger on such a polarizing move, and whether they can execute it without destroying the offensive chemistry that's made them so dangerous. Championship teams are defined by their willingness to make difficult decisions when everything is on the line. The 49ers are about to discover whether they possess that championship mentality, or if they'll let their title window close while clinging to comfortable mediocrity. What's your take on this potential blockbuster? Would you sacrifice offensive firepower for defensive reinforcement if you were calling the shots in San Francisco? Jump into the comments and let us know whether you think this represents championship brilliance or organizational madness, because this decision might define the 49ers' legacy for years to come.